Hi everybody, I'm Kiley Kapuscinski and this is my new book, Moved. It's an investigation into our loss of control online and why this is happening. For so long, we've assumed that internet addiction explains all of the endless scrolling and clicking and gaming and watching that we do, even when we don't intend to do these behaviors. We've normalized this idea of internet addiction so deeply in our society that we don't even question if anything else is causing these out of control behaviors. The purpose of this book talk is to point out some of the ways that the internet addiction model is falling short and the need to look beyond these frameworks in order to understand why we're losing control of ourselves in online environments. The first reason why internet addiction models are falling short is that they're narrowly focusing on the feel-good emotions that we have in online environments. The whole idea behind internet addiction is that we're getting constant microdoses of dopamine, a feel-good hormone that we can often have triggered through our interactions with online platforms. This might happen when we notice on social media that somebody has liked or viewed our content, or when we're on Twitter and somebody's retweeted us, or when we're playing games and we get badges and trophies and points. All of these can make us feel really good, and this is where internet addiction makes sense. It says that these feel-good emotions are what's driving us back to the online environments where we end up having these positive emotions. Where it falls short is that it's not just in positive emotions that we're experiencing our loss of control. More often, there are negative emotions like frustration and fear and outrage that are triggering this loss of our own emotional regulation, but that don't exactly fit the internet addiction model. The second way that internet addiction models fall short is that they don't take into account how not all of our out-of-control experiences online are repeated behaviors. Internet addiction proposes that when we have out-of-control experiences, they're part of a cycle or part of a habit that we have and that we encounter day to day, much like other forms of addiction involving drugs or alcohol. What they don't take into account is that a lot of our out-of-control experiences are not in fact repeated on a daily basis. They might be a one-time thing, maybe compelling us to purchase something online that we wouldn't have otherwise purchased. In other cases, our loss of control might involve increasing something that we already do or decreasing the frequency with which we do it without our intention to do so. So this is another thing that internet addiction models can't really explain. The third reason for thinking beyond internet addiction models is that internet addiction might not actually exist. For the last 20 years, we've been studying internet addiction and we've, accepted that maybe we too are addicted. But the DSM-5, which is the ultimate guidebook for defining and classifying all of our mental disorders, has not yet recognized internet addiction as a formal type of addiction. This means that the language that we're using to describe our out-of-control behaviors might not actually be accurate. Moreover, even doctors that are using standardized measures and tests to try to diagnose and assess internet addiction are finding that globally, only 2 to 6% of the population actually meets the criteria, the clinical criteria for an internet addiction. This number is far fewer than the huge numbers of us who suspect that we have an internet addiction, but that don't actually meet the clinical criteria for it. These out-of-control behaviors that we're experiencing that are probably not signs of internet addiction are what I call behavioral dark matter. These are behaviors that we know are occurring. We see them occurring in our day-to-day digital use, but we don't yet have a name for them. In fact, these out-of-control behaviors are happening all the time, but they're not an internet addiction. So what are they? If you're interested in learning more about behavioral dark matter and why we're losing this control of ourselves in online environments, pick up a copy of Moved. It's available on Amazon, and I hope you enjoy.